Hey everyone, it's Friday night after work and I'm at her again out in the driveway in the nice rain. That tree's another story. We'll get into that after. We got a 98 Neon here and you can tell she's got a misfire. And one of the old school tricks, I mean I can hear this. One of the old school tricks, they say you can take a dollar bill and stick it on the exhaust and it would flutter. Supposed to actually suck it in like that, but it doesn't work for me. Problem is this thing run, it's got a check engine light flashing. Let's go and check it out. I'll kill the radio here first. Okay, oh sorry, I apologize. 93,000, it's a 98. You can see you got a check engine light on, flashing actually. So first thing we're going to do is power this scan tool up. Now I had to tow this car here from last night. Home, so wait, the scan tool powers up here. We're using Genesis System 4, kind of outdated now. Let's see if I can get this to work for you guys so you can see it. Okay, let's go into here, scan diagnostics, Chrysler. I'll go this real quick. Always want to check your check engine light first on a misfire or anything. I already know what's wrong with this car, but I want to go through this with you guys anyway. Okay, so 98 Dodge car, Neon, base model, engine PCM, automatic transmission. Not in Mexico, so it's other. It's just telling you what cable to use. I have the smart cable in here, so. Okay, we're going to scroll down to diagnostic trouble codes. And we're going to go read codes. Now you can see you got a misfire detected, multiple cylinders. Cylinder misfire 1, cylinder misfire 4 detected. Okay, so let's back out of there. Let's read pending codes. I'll just go through them all. Same thing there. History codes. Nothing out of normal here. Okay, so I could go into the fuel trim and it would say lean or watch the O2 sensors, but I already know what's wrong with this. Let's go out here and have a look. So the next step is going to be check for a misfire. Since the last garage had it a month ago, they put an ignition coil, plugs and wires on it, and it didn't seem to fix the problem. It just got worse. So let's see what we got in here. We put a fuel, check the fuel pressure, we put a fuel gauge on it. I'm using an OTC master kit here. Pretty good kit. We've had this at work for years. I had to borrow it because I can't afford to buy one and have it at home. Doesn't justify it. Anyway, it's got all the fittings in. And so you got new ignition coil. And right away, you can see it wants to stall. It just stalled. I let it run for a while and just stalled. 15 pounds doesn't cut it. When I first started, it was at about 25, 21. It was misfiring. This car should have in between 35 and 45 psi to keep running. So, what does that mean? It means a fuel pump packed her in. Yeah, so next step is to get it back into the garage there, since it's going to be raining all weekend. And we're going to drop the tank in it. Anyway guys, next step. Hey, I'm back. Skip the step. Normally if you get a misfire like this, I would check the number 1 and 4. Number 1 and 4, but since it's on an opposite coil, I would have checked for spark here first. And if it had spark, I would have went to compression. If it had compression, then we go to fuel pressure. But since I knew it already had spark, I just skipped right to fuel pressure because I suspected a fuel pump. And you still see it's bled down to 10 pounds almost. Okay, now let's get the tank out of her. I'll get a price on it here and see if I can get one here tonight and get it in. Okay, good day everyone. It's now Sunday morning and we're going to get at this Neon. We're going to install a fuel pump. It wouldn't even start this morning, so we had to push it from over there to here. So first things first, let's get her up in the air. I've already checked my fuel gauge and I strongly recommend doing that if you're going to start replacing fuel pumps, because first off, you need to know how much fuel's in it. You're going to be taking the tank down. So this one here has quarter tank. And the other reason is that this car, there could be a possibility it's out of fuel. You just don't assume that it's a fuel pump, but in this case I know it is. But we'll be able to tell as soon as we drop the tank. If there's no fuel in it, then we'll run down the store and get some more and put some in, and if it works perfect, we won't bother to put the fuel pump in. Anyway, here's the fuel pump we're going to be put in there. Sunday I didn't have a whole lot of choice where I got it from, so it's about I don't know, a few $100s anyway. It's a whole complete unit thingy. Okay, let's get this car jacked up and get to work. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, by watching the tailpipe you can tell if you have a fuel pressure misfire or a cylinder misfire. You can see this tailpipe here is really clean. Now this was misfiring because of the plugs or the ignition coil or wires. You'd see a lot of black smoke come out, like in my Pontiac Sunfire video. We revved it up, we're getting actually blue smoke out of that one. This one is really clean. It's actually the way it's supposed to look like. Not a lot of cars do that. Okay, I just slid under there and I was just about to drop the tank, and I'm a little bit pissed off. They just did a tune-up on this car. Put new coil pack, new wires and plugs for the same reason that it's here for now, which is no fuel pressure. And I just about to take the fuel lines off, and I noticed that it still has the original fuel filter on it. 93,000 kilometers. They just got charged for a tune-up, and I'll show you here. And they didn't even bother changing the fuel filter. Well, does that make a lot of sense? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask our friend of ours, the girl that owns this, if they get charged for a fuel filter. If they did, why wasn't it put on? And that wasn't put on. They probably didn't put no injector cleaner in it either. That's like standard procedure. Standard procedure with putting a fuel pump in it is to replace the fuel filter, because 9 times out of 10 that's what takes the fuel pump out. So we're going to knock the lines out this fuel filter, and we're going to see if it's plugged up or not. Alright. Okay, I'm going to have to do this with one hand. To get this fuel filter off, first things first, we're going to knock the 10mm bolt that comes in from the backside this way, right up in there. Then there's a 1/4 inch hose clamp line there, and then this piece here, this long flexible piece, is just 2 push clips right there. So I can't do this with one hand though. Push these in, and sometimes you have to pull on it. I'm gonna get a screwdriver in here. Just hang on. Okay, now you can see we're kind of, I'm gonna show you position we're at here. We're under the car. I need 2 hands to do this though. You push these clips in. Now you could get it one hand. You need to push that back at the same time. Both these clips got to be pushed in. And I'm trying to do this one hand, guys, so this is kind of hard. Anyway, that should pull off here. Obviously there's not going to be fuel pressure here, but if this fuel filter is plugged, you'll see some pressure here. But we're going to, the real test is to blow through it. So we're going to take this out of position here, drop it down and get rid of it here. God, I'm kind of afraid to touch my camera now. I got all this crap. This car is really good shape for 98 because it's been under-oiled and driven by an old lady before my friend got to it. Anyway, so we got the one line off. Let's see if we have any luck with this hose clamp here. Probably not. For one thing, it's not 1/4 inch. I think it's like 7mm or something like that. Let's see if we can get it with a screwdriver. This thing has never been off. It's crazy. 98,000. She's seen a few gas stations, that's for sure. Okay, I'll come back to when we get this off. Okay, it's a 9:30 seconds on this hose clamp. Let's get this thing off. We'll see how badly plugged it is or isn't. But anyway, she paid for a tune-up. She should have got a tune-up, not half a tune-up. Maybe this took the fuel pump out. You never know. Alright, get under here. That tastes good. I'm going to get a little bit of spillage. I think the fuel pumps just had it. Just had it. Okay, so generally this is really bad, this filter. When you dump it like that, you should see black coming out, but this one doesn't look too bad. But you can tell it's never been changed. Look at the undercoating on that. Oh, there it is right there. See some crap coming out, it's kind of milky there. Right, normally I'd blow in the end of it, but this is gonna be tricky. Let's try it. Yuck. Looks like she's good, but you just never know, right? Okay, there's nothing wrong with that fuel filter, but it should still be changed, and regardless, it's gonna get a new one. Don't know if it's gonna get it today, but it's gonna get a new one. Either way, it's gotta come off. Okay, with that fuel filter out of the way, this is kind of a rather easy one to unhook because there's no return line on it. There's a little red lock right here. You kind of see that tab sticking out right there. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick this up. This is going to move my light. I'm trying to show you guys how these stupid things are locked because get it on camera right here. Okay, that little tab sticking out there. Push that in. It slides across. Now you should be able to push down on this part and pull it out. Right on the top. And again, we're doing one hand, so... Oh, it's on the end right there. How well this is going to catch it. And wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Should come out of there. There. Now that undone, we're going to come back here and undo the filler tube and the vent. Now she said she's been having a problem with this filler tube leaking fuel, so we might drop it right out of the car and see if we can bondo it for her so she doesn't leak any fuel anymore, and then it'll be two 15 mil bolts, right, one right there, and we'll drop the gas tank down. Okay, I sprayed some liquid wrench on here on the clamp. Any of the bolts you have to take off, do the same thing. Worth mentioning, sometimes we get a car with full gas tank and it won't stop pissing out of the outlet on the fuel pump. Put a bolt in there and tighten the hose clamp up. It'll stop it from pissing all over you. Okay, a little bit of spray makes that hose clamp come off a lot easier once you get it broken free. Sometimes you have to use a pair of pliers. I put a pair of pliers on the handle here, clamp them on just to break it free. Generally at work I will not use hose clamps. I replace them with brand new, so if you have the option, put a brand new one there. Okay, get that off. Okay, I'm pretty sure I showed you this trick before. If you don't have one of those 90-degree pick screwdrivers, you can get under here like this with a screwdriver, go around and break, look at that, eh? Maybe I'll just pull that whole spout out with that. Anyway, go around here like this and break the seam free. Working your screwdriver around like that. Try to get around the top side, but try not to tear the thing. We're going to need two hands to twist this off, but anyway, that's the idea. And she was complaining about her filler neck leaking, so I'm going to pull this one down and I might just body fill it for now until she can get some money to buy a new one. Okay. Okay, this is video of evidence of how bad this filler neck is. You see part of it's still there. The other part's right here. It's all broke off. What am I going to do with that? Should be replaced now. Okay, on this one there's a vent tube that goes on top of your filler neck. It runs to here. Unplug it there and unplug it here. This one goes to your evap tube. Okay, and you got one ground strap up here on the neck. Make sure that goes back because you could get a static charge. It could cause a fire at the pump. Anyway, look how bad this is. This is not good. How I'm going to fix that. Now, a word of caution, when you do these, make sure this tube doesn't get cut because you'll have a hard time putting fuel in your car. This lets the air go out of the top of the tank when you're doing it. Okay, said when she filled to get up with gas it would leak. She had to go slow when she puts the fuel in. Well, there's a hole right there. There's probably more in there if you look, but concerned about this. Yeah, that's been broke for a long time. So I don't know if I just could body fill this. Probably what I'm going to end up doing is clean this really good, put some body filler on it, and then sticking it back in until she can get a new one. It needs a new filler neck, which is not going to be hard to change, but on a tight budget, yeah, that's not good. It's garbage. Might almost be better off making my own with a pipe bender at work and an exhaust pipe. It's not going to be sealed either. Okay, back to work. Okay, everyone. Okay, I stand corrected. It's a 13 or a ½ inch, whatever you want. 13 fits a little looser. Might be a little easier. Yeah, 13 mil instead of, I told you 15, but anyway, since I only have a quarter tank of fuel, I'm not going to bother putting a jack under it. A lot of times I get to swing around like you see me now, put your knee on it. Now if I had a full tank gas, it wouldn't be under here. I would have drained it first once I had this apart like this, or the fuel line, pump it out. That's pretty heavy. I should have put the jack under it, but anyway, we're going to let her down. And we're going to yank her out of there. Now put it back up, I'm going to have to use a jack, because there's no way around that. Okay. Let's get you guys out of there. Now I took this out without a jack, but when I put it back in, I'm going to have to use one because it's kind of heavy, even with a quarter tank of fuel in it. Feels like half a tank. I think it's pretty heavy. Okay. So we got the tank kind of out. You can see the fuel pumps on the side here. So what we're going to do is stand this up on the end and try not to pull the tank by this piece here, because sometimes these get brittle here and the gas tank will actually break off. Yeah, you don't want to go there. So we're going to stand that up on its end, possibly over here somewhere, and we'll take that apart for you. Okay, so basically this is held in place by a big screwed in cap, kind of like a bottle cap. This is the fuel pump, this is a retaining ring right here. So there's a few ways you can get this off. You had one of those big band wrenches that go around here that tightens up, like an oil filter one, a large one, that would work. Big pair of C-channel thingies, that would work. I'm going to use a hammer and a chisel. You got to be careful with that though, how hard you hit on it. But anyway, support the tank with your feet. Should turn off. Now you should take your air line and blow all the crap out of here, and then you could even spray it with some goop if you wanted to. This one looks like it's coming off. I'm trying not to hit too hard because I don't want to bust this tank all up. It's kind of too sharp, this chisel. You need a blunter instrument to hit on it with. I might have to go find one. Yeah, let's go find something before I chew it all up. Okay, so I couldn't find any blunter instrument, but anyway, you get the idea. Now before you get too far out, let's remove this fuel line off here. Same idea. Pinch the two lines. You gotta have them both pinched in, or you're not gonna get it off like this. Alright. Now we can make sure this line's not collapsed, which probably wouldn't be, but you get it apart, you might as well check it, right? Now a lot of guys will do this right on the car without unhooking your filler spout. If you have a hoist, you can let it down with a jack under it. If there's no fuel in it, obviously, because it's all going to run out that side. It could save you a little bit of time. Now I'm going to pull this sucker out. Here she is. Oh yeah, that looks good. Anyway, you can see she's been in there for quite a while. I drain the excess fuel back into the tank, because fuel is worth gold now. Anyway, now you got it this far, you might as well jam your light down in there and check for any foreign materials like sugar or whatever. I can see there's nothing in this one, but you just never know. Now with this fuel pump, you'll get a instructional piece of paper. Have that to read first. It might give you some precautions and blah blah blah. Whatever. I've read about 1,000,000 of them. I don't need to read another one. Now replace that seal because that's kind of all stretched. Now before you ram the new fuel pump in there, make sure your plugs are all the same. The filter may be different. This one's a little different than the old one, but it doesn't matter. The float's on the same side. Okay. Now look for that there's a little notch here, and there's a notch here. It's got to line up. This is obviously tells you how full the tank is, but anyway, it's got to go sideways. Now you could lubricate this with some kind of grease. Just make sure it's silicone based, something that's not going to swell the rubber over time. I just put mine in with nothing because I don't know, because I can. Anyway, there she is. She's in. This one's got a ground strap. It looks like it needs to go on, so we're going to have to run a separate ground. We'll read the instructions for that because I've never seen one with another. So you can see the old one didn't have that on there. So we may not have to use that. We may have to. We're going to have to read the instructions to find out. Anyway, we'll get that started on there straight. Tighten her back down. Now give her a little turn, quarter turn with that, or half turn, quarter turn to do it. Okay, just maybe this is worth mentioning. Make sure if you're working on these things that you have some kind of fire extinguisher laying around, and watch where you use your light. I'm on the ground, so there's no chance of it falling, but make sure, like this one here is a sealed bulb. If you have one of those open crash lights, make sure it's nowhere near where the gas is going to drip on it. Same with your extension cords. You don't want any mishaps, so you were warned. Okay, another little tip for you before you stick it back in. Tip the tank back up on its side. Oh, and try to not get it out this filler spout, and check for leaks. Makes it a lot easier to do it now than when it's up there dripping in your face. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the reinstall, but basically going to use that jack right under there. I'm going to pull it around side here and probably use this plywood to roll it across the ground. I'm going to put the gas tank on it and then raise it back up. Or crawl in there and get the gas tank on top of me and put those 2 bolts back in, and it's just reverse procedure what I just did. The exception, you should put a new fuel filter on it. They say you should do that for warranty, but I don't like to use the old stuff. Anyway, I'm going to take care of this filler tube somehow, just to get her through until she can afford to buy another one, because this one's dickered. Well, I shouldn't say that, somebody else's word. Anyway, we're going to have to put it back on for now, but we're going to go through and scrape all this stuff off and find all the holes, body fill it up. There's the biggest one right there. There's another one in here, I bet. Anyway, guys, you like this kind of stuff, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Hey guys, you like this kind of stuff, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I don't care if it's a bad comment, good comment, same with the ratings. It helps me out a lot when it pushes me up in the ratings or down. Usually up, but that's good. Next few weeks, hopefully this next week, I'm going to get my greenhouse up and put my wood away. And you can see I've been working at chopping this big tree down. Hopefully I don't fall and kill myself this. If I knew somebody with a bucket truck that would come over here cheap to do it, I'd probably get them to take these 3 limbs off, but since I can't afford that, I'm going to show you guys what to do. Maybe I won't, because I don't want to be responsible if you fall in a tree. Anyway, please rate, comment, subscribe. Talk to you guys later.